Hey there, it's the ABCs of Preschool podcast, the place to be for busy moms, teachers, and childcare providers. I'm your host, Miss Amber, an early childhood expert with nearly 3 decades of experience and a proud mama too. I know you're running around with those littles, so let's jump right in. Hello, welcome to the ABCs of Preschool. I'm your host, Miss Amber. I am so glad you're here. I hope you had just an amazing week. Here it is. Well, as I am talking right now, it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Northern California. I mean, it's gorgeous. I think it was like 74 on my walk this morning, and I'm really excited because I plan to lay out after I record this episode. I am very thankful today for our California weather. It's extremely gorgeous. So happy Monday to you and happy new week. I love that the episodes drop on a Monday because it's a start of a new week, a fresh chapter. And today we're going to talk about leading by example. And you could be like, what the heck are you talking about? But leading by example, I'm going to explain. It's a topic that's just kind of been on my mind lately. Whether you're a mama, a dad, a leader, maybe you're a director of a childcare center, maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're an entrepreneur, you have nothing to do. You're not in the early childhood field at all. You just stumbled across this podcast, but you're in a leadership position. If you really pause and think about it, so many of us are in leadership roles. Entrepreneurship, teaching, parenting, directing, owning a business. If you maybe work somewhere and you have to manage a team, today's all about leading by example. And what does that look like? And it's so easier said than done. It's so easy to be like, oh, of course I lead by example. And I think I'm a positive example. But truly, to lead by example every day in a very effective way, we actually have to be mindful of it every single day. When we wake up, if it's a Monday through Friday role, maybe you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're a director or a teacher, you're in charge of a classroom, you're in charge of a school, you're in charge of a business, you're a business owner. So that Monday through Friday, when you put that hat on as leader, teacher, owner, parent, parenting is 24/7. We'll talk about that in a second. But right now, I'm going to just hone in on all my entrepreneurs out there, my teachers, center owners, directors. If you are in a management position, so Monday through Friday, when we wake up, to be a positive, impactful leader who actually creates change and enthusiasm and excitement, we have to be mindful of it every single day. If you're a teacher, I encourage you when you walk into your classroom to recognize your stardom. You are a star. You are a leader, especially teachers. Okay. So our little ones, they look up to you so much. They adore you. Kids really look up to their teachers for a really, really long time. Maybe you get to 6th grade, 7th and 8th grade, high school, where not so much. I think still a lot of kids do, but in the younger years, if you are a teacher, you have a really powerful role as a leader. And it's important to lead by example. And what does that look like? Let's break that down a little bit. If you are a teacher or you're working at a school, when you're dealing with kids, you are teaching every day. Leading by example means leading by love, in my opinion, and not sweating the little things. I encourage you not to be a no kind of teacher, but a yes kind of teacher. And what I mean by is pouring out your love on your students by encouraging them, lifting them up with affirmations. I know you may have a really difficult child in your class, a student that maybe having a really hard time. They have trouble listening. They don't want to follow directions. When kids are going through hard times, they act out. And as a leader, you want to give them love and show them love by your example. And I think one of those ways is to really uplift them and all the things they do right, shower them with praise. And we'll talk about classroom management. That's coming up in a different podcast. But you are in a role to lead by example. Our kids, our students are watching. They watch how you talk. They watch how you manage your stress. They watch to see if you are joyful, if you are happy. Kids can pick up so much. So I encourage you, if you're an educator, if you're a teacher, when you're walking into your classroom, you want to show up joyful, happy, bubbly, full of love. And I know that something may be really hard going on the outside. You may be really struggling personally right now. You may be really going through some hard times. But I encourage you to, when you get into your classroom, you can shut that off. And little human beings, our little students, they need us to show up with love and kindness. And you are leading them as their teacher. You're training and teaching and helping guide their way as they grow and learn. And so we have to show up with happiness and joy and love and affirmations and with patience, like a lot of patience. Because if you show up stressed, if you show up short and a no kind of teacher, no, stop it, no. What do you think your students are going to do to their friends sitting next to them? Or if you're teaching preschool, guess what? Your students are going to show up at home acting out how you behave as their teacher. I guarantee it. They're going to copy your words, copy your mannerisms. They are going to emulate what you do. And so let's talk about parenting. If you're a parent, maybe you're not a parent now, but you're a teacher in a class, but you really want to be a parent. Same thing. We have to lead by example. And it's so much harder. It's so much easier said than done. It truly, truly is. When you're a parent leading by example, it is 24/7 hours a day. It's those moments where you just want to go in the bathroom and cry. It's the moments where you may have got a really hard phone call and you're trying to keep it together because you're on for your kids. It's all of it. Leading by the example. And as we all know, as we've grown up and now we're adults leading adult lives, our own journeys, our own paths, we've carried a lot of what our parents did with us, right? We all carry some of the burden, some of the errors, some of the how we were raised. It's in us to the core. Like, it's our very foundation of how we were raised. Now, with that being said, I truly believe it is our choice to change the past of how we are raised. Some of us or some of you may have been raised really rough. Maybe you were raised by parents who yelled all the time, who were stressed out all the time, who were short with you all the time. They did not lead. Well, they led by example, but in a really negative way. And it really may have impacted you. And maybe you've had to really work on some stuff because you do not want to lead the way you were led as a kid. The same thing goes with us. If you are parents now, I encourage you to just be really mindful of the way you lead, the way you parent. We have to parent and lead by example. If you are stressed out all the time, our kids are going to be stressed out all the time. If you're on your phone all the time, you're going to lead and show them that they're not very important. If you are angry, maybe you carry a lot of anger or a lot of hurt, it's going to show up on the way you lead and parent your kids. So we're not perfect. I am not a perfect mom in any means. Anyway, when my kids were younger and it was hard, I had 3 under 3. I mean, it was busy. And then I had my fourth. I was a busy, busy mom, juggling multiple schedules and multiple kids and trying to lead and parent in a positive, joyful, loving way. And there's always those moments where you snap. We're not perfect. So you're going to have those moments of losing your patience. But I encourage you, for the majority of the time, as you parent your little ones, as you parent your kids, it's really taking the time to be mindful and present. If you're present every day and mindful as you parent, you can parent with love and joy. And the biggest thing I can encourage you is to do not sweat the little stuff. I'll tell you an example. Today I was on my walk and there was a family. It looked like a grandma, the mom and the dad. There was like they had a double stroller. They had a 3-year-old that was outside the stroller. And then they had to look like maybe a little bit over a 1-year-old little boy, like pushing the stroller. They were walking on a path. Well, the little 3-year-old had stopped and put his hand in dirt and like was trying to pick up a leaf, or I don't know. He was just had his hands in the dirt like a normal 3-year-old on a walk in nature. And the dad scolded him and put the 3-year-old back in the stroller, buckled him in, and locked him in. And it made my heart really kind of sad because they're on a walk in nature and we have really beautiful paths in my area. Like it's really, really gorgeous. There's running creeks. It's just gorgeous. And that little one got scolded for putting his hand in the dirt. And so as we parent, as we lead, as we teach our little ones, as we are a leader in kids' lives, I encourage us to not sweat the little things, pick and choose your battles. And that incident this morning, I mean, I thought, well, that's just going to show him that like getting messy is not okay. And we have to realize, and as we are in kids' lives and little ones, as we parent and as we are educators, kids are going to get messy. They need to get their hands in the dirt. They need to get their hands in the mud. That's how they're learning and exploring. And if we snap so much at them and try to keep them in a tight box, it's like stifling, I think, their imagination and their creativity. I think, of course, the times that we need to be on them and encourage them is kindness, like being kind to others, not being mean to others, not harming others with their hands. Those are the times to step in. But most of the time when we're teaching preschoolers, I mean, it was so rare that I would ever have to talk to a parent because it's normal for preschoolers to not share at a moment. It's normal for them to kind of snap at a friend for a moment. It's our job as leaders to lead by example and use the kind words to our students, kind words to our children, giving them grace, love, and patience. So we have to remember that we are leaders and they pick up everything. They truly, truly do. And what's the ultimate goal, right? If you're an educator, all of our goals as educators is we want our students to flourish when they go to kindergarten and school. We want them to be a happy, wholesome human being who loves school, right? That's our goal. And as mamas, as parents, what is our ultimate goal with our children? We want them to grow up healthy, happy, whole, and good human beings. But how are you showing up? Like, really, sometimes we have to pause in all aspects of our life. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, you are leading a business, you have your team underneath you. How are you showing up for them? Are you showing up snappy and stressed and not with kindness and grace? It's going to affect your team and their production. So as human beings, it's so easy to get wrapped up in our own world, our own mind, because each of us as human beings are on our own experiences, right? So like I was raised a certain way, you were raised a certain way. We all have certain baggage in us. We all have certain traits in us. We all perceive the world differently, right? Like we all see the world different and only through our eyes. But when you're in a leadership role, no matter what that is, if that's you're leading your company, you're a teacher, maybe you're a director of a center, you are the leader. And if you're a parent, you are a leader. So we have to do check-ins with ourselves, right? We've got to check in. Like, how are we to the core? Like, how are we centered? Are we happy? Are we calm? Are we fulfilled? That's why self-care is so important. That's why journaling is so important. That's why gratitude journal is so important. How are you showing up as a leader? Because the best leaders are those that are leading by example positively, excitedly, with joy. That's allowing your students or your employees to be creative and letting them shine, to show up every day with their best versions and accepting them at their best and their worst, right? None of us are going to show up at our best every day. So as a leader, we have to recognize that. Our teams are going to show up at their best, and sometimes they're going to show up at their worst. And we still need to love and give them grace and give them patience. And so checking in with ourselves regularly, because you want to lead. We want to do a good job being a leader. We want to be a good job being a parent. And sometimes we're going to fail. Sometimes we're going to snap. It just happens. But if you can show up in your classroom with love and grace and joy and happiness and excitement, your students, they're going to feel that. They're going to want to please you. They're going to feel the love and the joy, and they're going to flourish. They will flourish. But if you show up in a classroom stressed out, depressed, high anxiety, worrying about every other thing, not in it, your students are going to feel that. They're going to start acting up. They're going to throw tantrums. And it's the same thing as raising our kids. Our children are so sensitive. The ages from 0 to 5, a lot of times they don't have their words, but they see it, they feel it, they feel the environment. So let's show up leading enthusiastically, not as a leader that's like has the whip, right? If you're a teacher, you got to give your little ones grace. They're learning everything, and we got to roll with it. And it's okay. They're going to get messy. They're going to not share a toy. It's okay. It's all okay, right? If we pause and realize it. And so is raising our little ones. It's okay if the house is a mess. It's okay if you didn't get all your things done on your list, because if you're showing up leading with love, kindness, grace, patience, you are instilling that in your little ones. They're going to grow up with that at their core, and they're going to feel so secure because they felt your love as a leader. If you're running a business, if you're an entrepreneur, I encourage you not to throw the whip and be the micromanager. It's really important for us to show up as leaders, as the cheerleader, right? As the big dreamer of this is where we're going. This is where we're heading. And I need you to help us get there, because I believe in you. I believe in your creativity. I believe in your skills. And that's why you're here. You're here to do the most amazing job you can. And it's not my job to do your job, but my job is to cheer you on. Leading by example is letting you show your creativity, letting you shine with the skills you have. I think a great leader leads from a place of love and excitement and joy and happiness. So if you're feeling burnt out right now as an entrepreneur, as maybe a site owner, director, or a teacher or a parent, whatever your role is, and you're listening to this and saying, I'm so burnt out right now, I don't even know how to lead by a good example because I'm so tired. I would say it's okay. We all have those moments. We all have those times where we're like, I can barely hold on. So how can I lead others? How can I be a leader at the moment? Pause. Take some time for you. Honestly, I think that's why it's so important for rest, for vacations. Seriously, it's so important for rest. So we have peace in our lives. We have calmness so that we can recenter ourselves, so that we can take a deep breath and we can get clarity again. If we go, 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 we do not take those breaks. We cannot be the best leaders that we are supposed to be. We cannot be the best parent that we're supposed to be. We cannot be the best entrepreneurs, the best teachers if we do not pause and rest. So I just want to encourage you guys, leading by example, because so many of you who are listening are leaders. And we need powerful, wonderful, courageous, loving, kind leaders in this world. There is too much negativity in this world. And so we need to show up for our kids. As parents, we need to show up with our kids, showing them that there is joy in this world and that we love them and we give them grace and we're going to give them kindness. We're going to show up with patience and we're not going to sweat the small stuff. Really, I always say choose your battles because with kids, it's like we should have to discipline them. Like we just say, share with your friends or be kind, say a kind word. Oh, we don't hit our brother. We have gentle hands. Like truly, it's like all so minute in the big grand things of things, So if you're a teacher that is with your families, like with your students' families, and you're saying the negatives all the time to them, I encourage you to stop. I encourage you to just do a check-in with yourself. Maybe that's a Sunday or a Monday. If you are a leader, and be mindful that you have an important role as a leader. And it's our example that will trickle down to our team. It's our example. So when you go into work as an entrepreneur, if you show up in your business, smile, love your staff, give them grace, let them shine as they're supposed to shine. Let them do the job that they are hired to do. If you're a teacher, show up with love and kindness and joy and excitement because your class will thrive with that. And if you're a parent, make sure you're taking your break so you can lead your kids. You can parent your kids so they can become amazing human beings. And then they're going to turn around and do that with their kids. I'm on the other side right now. I'm waiting to be a grandma. Now, none of my kids have told me I'm not going to be a grandma anytime soon, but that's the next phase I'm in. One of my kids is already talking about how he wants to be a dad, and I am so excited. And that makes me so happy. Like I look back now, like I wasn't a perfect mom by any means, but all my kids want really big families. So that makes me really excited. I think I did something right, but it's a cycle. What we pour into our kids, what we pour into our staff, what we pour into our students will trickle on to others. So I encourage you to lead by a positive example. And if that's not happening right now, if you're struggling with that, take a pause, take a breath, take a vacation, take a moment to reflect why. What is in the way right now that you can maybe release, let go, so you can show up mindful and in it and present, knowing that every day you are a leader and you are needed. Your role as a leader is needed. Wishing you guys a fabulous week. This is Miss Amber with the ABCs of Preschool. And remember, wish it, dream it, do it. I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to hear this podcast. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss the next episode. For more information on how to work with me, Miss Amber, visit me at thelovingstartway.com or follow me on Insta at thelovingstartway.